Okay, this is the homework problem number 4 for the afternoon lab, and it involves it involves creating design table for an assembly. Okay, so I have already created this spreadsheet here. And notice that it doesn't have materials or it doesn't have part names and things like that. Those I did it on Thursday, yesterday, and you're responsible for it. But anyway, this one does not involve those. So it shows that there's plane of symmetry here. Okay, there's a plane of symmetry, and obviously this piece is half that length. So the driving the variable in the design table is L, but this length is 2L. Okay, no problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to go start with the part, not the part, the product, and I'm going to make that. Okay, so I am going to do the outside piece first. Okay, all right. Let me go ahead, insert new part in there. Right click properties. I'll call it outside. Outside and outside. Let's make it. Double click on that plane. I will sketch something that looks like this. I can do half of it and mirror it, or whichever you prefer. I'll do it like that and then clean it up. For example, this point, control that point, control the middle axis. You make it symmetric. And then there is a square. Let me see now. There is a square in the middle. So let's make a centered square here, right there, like so. And we're going to dimension it, okay? We're going to dimension everything according to what we've got here. This is H, these are W, and alpha and beta. Okay, very good. So let's go there. First of all, I need a dimension here and a dimension there. The distance from here to here is, I think it's going to be H later on. This angle, let me see, what angle is what? Alpha and beta. Okay, so this is going to be alpha, and this is going to be beta later on. Okay, very good. All right, exit, pad it. So, okay. Now we go insert the inner piece, which is fairly straightforward, just basically a rod with a square cross section later on. So insert a new part. I'll call it the inner piece. Right click properties, inner and inner. Double click on that plane. I will sketch. A square or a rectangle, dimension it, exit, and pad it. Actually, let me do a, yeah, that's fine. So let me make it a little longer. Okay. Now, we'll worry about the assembly constraints later on, but let me go all the way to the top all the way to the top, move these apart. So let me move this thing in the direction Y is good. Move it there. Y is this actually? Okay, good. All right. Now we're going to create our parameters. Yeah. So we're going to create our parameters. Don't forget you have to be all the way at the top level to create the parameters for the assembly. Otherwise, you're going to be sorry. So let me see now. There are 3 length parameters. So let's start with the length. Is right here. There's going to be L, and based on the table, L is 5. Another one is going to be W, big W, and that W according to the table. First one, the table is 0.5. Another one is H, and the table tells you it's 4. Okay, then we need 2 angles. So change this thing to angle. First one is called alpha, and the table gives you alpha equal to 90. Another one beta, also 90. Apply. Okay, now we're going to make our equations. So for equations, here are the parameters, by the way, right there. You can see that. So you click on the top, and it shows you all the dimensions. So for example, I want this, add a formula to be equal to h. Okay. Let me see now. This thing is this angle is your beta. Add a formula equal to beta. This angle on the top, add a formula equal to alpha. There is a W, there are 2 W's here. There is these two dimensions. Where are these 2 dimensions? One of them is this, the other one is the horizontal one. Now, let me make a suggestion to you, because this is all kind of jumbled up. Why don't we go on this is the outer piece, right? Go to the part, go to the pad, go to the sketch. It only shows you the stuff for the sketch. So I want this thing, add a formula to be equal to W. It's easier that way. And this thing is also W, add a formula equal to W. Okay. Now let's go to the other piece. This piece, that is equal to W. And this vertical one, this is also equal to W. Add a formula equal to W. Okay, now, this length, you see that length? This length is double of that of the pad here. Or what I can say is that, okay, so let's take this length, add a formula equal to 2 times L, right there. Very good. And I forgot to do that one. So that length, add a formula equal to L. Now, aside from the assembly constraints, let's check it out. Okay, so first of all, update. Okay, see that? Based on these numbers, this is what's going to happen. Okay, now let's try something else. L, let's make it 2. So this is going to become 2, the other one is going to become 4. There, you can see that. Okay, so this is 2 and this is 4. Let's try W. W is this, let's try angle. Angle alpha. Alpha, let's take it 30. Okay, so that 30 apparently is too small. So let's make it actually 50. There. Okay, and what else? Beta is that angle. Let's make it 120. Hopefully it doesn't make it self-intersecting. That's good. That's good. And h is this height. So let's make h equal to, I don't know, maybe 8, taller. Okay, good. Change w now to 1. They both change. Very good. Now, let's put assembly constraints there. Okay, so first of all, I know that I want, for example, let's go ahead and, I haven't done the design table yet. Remember, I was just checking. I created the parameters and I was just checking to make sure they're working. Now let's do the assembly constraints. So this axis, for example, this axis and that axis to be coincident, update, okay. And this has to be placed exactly halfway between these two. The problem is that the way I did it, I don't have a half plane. So what I can do is the following. I'm going to create a plane in this part, exactly halfway. Okay, so let's go to that part. I should have thought about this thing earlier, but I didn't. So I have to pay a price now. So this is the outside piece. That's the outside piece. I'm going to create a plane halfway in the middle. I could have done a mirror and send that would have helped it. So let's see now. Create a point. Create a point. A point exactly halfway between this point and that point. Middle point. Okay. And now create a plane which goes through this point. Let me see now, plane, read this thing carefully, through a point, normal to a curve, that'll do it, okay? So the curve is this, and the point was taken, very good. And do exactly the same thing for this other piece. So let's go back, let's go to that other part, create a point, exactly halfway between this point and that point. Look, I'm making it too complicated, but there's no choice because I should have thought about this thing earlier. So that's going to be normal to a curve, and there is the curve, and right there. So now I can go to the assembly, okay, and I say, for example, coincidence between this plane and this plane, okay, update, pushes it in halfway, you can see that, good. And in fact, if you go and change the length of L to, for example, I don't know, maybe 4, update, that's the way it should be, right? Okay. Now, as far as the constraint goes, this is not completely done because I need to do something else. For example, I can say, let me move this thing out. Where is this? Move this out in the direction X, move it out, and I say coincidence between that plane and this plane. Okay, good. I think that's full constraint. In other words, I haven't done the design table, remember? So let's check these things out. So did I? Yeah, let's, I didn't anchor this, so let me actually anchor that. Yeah, anchor the outer piece. And let's do some crazy rotation. This and that and that. And when I update, they should go back to where they are. Now we're going to do the design table. So what we're going to do is, here's this design table. Say okay, and it is this one, right? Yeah, design table assembly, which I already selected. And there we are. Let's check it out. So this is the first row. Apply. Okay. There we are. Do it again. Here, do it again with the other row. I don't even have to say apply. All I have to do is update. It should work right there. And unfortunately, it closes that table. So that one, move it out of the way, and update. There we are. So that takes care of the homework for the afternoon session.